Hello and welcome back to another great episode of the Geek Tech Show. In today's video, we're going to be checking out the Osmo Action, a few cool things that you can do with it. If you did enjoy and like this video, and I am an online course creator and a photographer as well, and I use very cool tools all the time, and because of that, I'm going to be showing you a few cool things you can do with the Osmo Action right now that you can't do with any other camera. Specifically with this camera that I just got a few days before. So if you're interested and you enjoyed this video and my show, please write down below, click subscribe. Let's get started. So before I show you some cool tricks with the Osmo Action, I want to show you some essentials that you actually need. You need some kind of a tripod. It doesn't have to be an expensive one, but this specific one is great for my use. Specifically why I like this one is that it lets me actually adjust the ball handle over here, and it also spins around. Plus the legs are very sturdy as well. This is a pretty cheap tripod, but the mini tripods are some of the best things that you can do in order to stabilize and use this as a grip as well for all your photography needs. Next thing you do actually need is a micro SD adapter. And this is great. You really need one of those. If you don't have one of those, I do suggest for you to actually get them. It is a very great way to transfer files, and it actually makes it pretty fast. Well, let's get started talking about the Osmo Action. A few great tricks and tips about how to use it. First of all, it has an enclosure over here and you can take it out. So the first thing, when you are getting it out, make sure you go ahead and press on the actual lens right here. It's going to help you get it out very quick. If you don't do this, it's going to take you a lot longer to get it out. Another thing I highly suggest for you to actually get or actually buy is the following. One of those things. And I mean the one that doesn't actually get glued. This specific one goes into any kind of tripod, and you can use it for almost any kind of video footage that you actually need. Now, next thing, a few cool things about this one is that the lens itself in the Osmo Action is removable. It does take you some power to spin it off, so you can take it out. The great thing about this is if this actually gets broken, you can just replace it, and this costs not a lot of money versus the GoPro, which doesn't have a removable lens, and if it does break, you would actually have to send the whole thing in order for you to replace it. Another thing is you can actually screw some HD filters right on this. This is a cool extra bonus that definitely is and makes it a worthwhile investment for you. Another thing is when you turn it on, we're going to be doing it right now. Just press on right here. What we're going to be doing next is there is going to be a button right here which actually says QS. And you have to just press on it once. When you press on it once, it's going to flip from this one right here all the way to this one. So let's go ahead and do that. There. And it flipped it right there, and we can see myself filming it. So what you have to do is just to press on it and hold it. And it flipped it. It's that easy. Let's flip it again. Oh, cool. Now, a few other cool things about this is that you can actually do something you couldn't do before with the GoPro. So what is it? Well, let me show you. One of the cool things about this specific one is when you move it to the side, we have the manual control here. And with the manual control, we can choose manual or auto. So let's go ahead, press on manual. With the manual, we can change a lot of things here. One of which is the shutter speed, ISO, and AV. So let's go to AV here. And this mode doesn't let us change the AV, so it depends on which mode you're in. Depending on the mode, you're going to have more or less options over here. Right now we have ISO of 100. We can change it to any ISO we want, or to press on auto, or of course we can go full auto over here if we want to. Another thing here is going to be the video mode. Let's press on the video. And we have a few choices here. Auto white balance, colors, dewarp. Dewarp is kind of cool. Let's turn this on. With dewarp on, what it actually does is the distortion on the sides is going to go away. So with it off, it gives it kind of a fisheye. And you can kind of see right here, the line going a little bit on the side. So that's the distortion. And we can turn off the distortion with this feature. Another one is the movie format, movie and MP4. When you're done and you are done playing with it, all you have to do is to get off this mode. So let's press on it and just move it around. Now this one has the image stabilization on and it says RS over here. If yours doesn't say RS, all you have to do is to update the firmware and it's going to give it the RS option. Plus, always update the firmware to get the latest versions of this software and anything in between. Now, there's a few other cool tricks that we can do here. Let's flip to something different here. Doesn't matter what it is. But if you go on the bottom, we're going to be pressing it like this. We have the lock steady mode on right here. And it's going to make it anti-shake. We can also change the resolutions of our screen. Here Rocksteady is not available, but we can also change how many flips per second that are for every one of those modes. So let's go ahead and put it into 1080. And here is it with Rocksteady on or off. And it doesn't have Rocksteady for this one. It's not available. This resolution it doesn't let us have. And this one it does. Oh, it let me have it for 60, as you can see right here. If you go and you didn't turn on the lock steady, it's not going to show right here. So let's go back in here, press on lock steady, and it's not on. Here we go. And now we have it on. Now, if you want to do some quick things, let's say you film something, you want to see it, you just move it right here, and you can see your SD card. This one right now is empty, but if it had something, it would show it over here. Now another thing is preferences, just move it down. And you have all kinds of preferences that we can set, such as the right folders, the user interface in case you want to save whatever you put in here. And you can save it to 3 different modes. And then if you want to lock the screen, so nobody can actually touch this when you're filming or doing something. There's a few other modes here as well. The settings themselves, which includes the Snapchat, which is otherwise known as Snapshot, which is the latest setting for it, but you can change it to anything you actually want here. The quick switch, wireless connection, wind noise reduction, the sounds which I put to the low. The cool thing right here is the grid itself. Now, accidentally turn this on. Let's go back to the grid. Voice control is off. And we're going to the grid itself right here. There we go. Let's turn it on. Right there. The grid is on now. And screen sleep mode, we can change it to 10 minutes. And move it out of there. No, 5 minutes is what I want. And here we go. So now next thing that we're going to be doing here, the record on and off. Let's turn it off. So let's say you want to just turn this thing off. All you have to do is just to press on it and just hold it. And it turns itself off. If you want to turn it on, just press on display once again and hold it in, and it's going to turn it on. Just like that. Go back in here. Spot metering is another cool feature here. Voice control is off. And the brightness. Turn that on. Now we can finally see something. Let's go. Lastly, and the coolest feature in here is the slow motion mode. So press on the videos and we can change from HDR just to slow motion. And this is one thing that this one has that the GoPro itself doesn't actually have, is the slow motion part of it. And over here, all we have to do is just to press on slow motion, and it's going to give us the slow motion, and we're going to have two different choices for us to pick from, which is the 1080 or the 720, and it is at 8x or 4x speed here. And it is very simple for us to use. On the GoPro, you had to go through a bunch of different settings to actually set it up. Over here, it's just so easy for us to do. All you have to do is just to press on it and start filming. Another cool thing is the time lapse right here. With time lapse, we can pick two things. Time lapse itself is going to be either photography, which is going to be one thing, and we can go to custom to do that, which is the photo. Here we go, photo, and we can change which one we want, boost, or we can change to other mode, which is going to be timed. Let's say we want to do a timed photo. It's going to take a lot longer. Or we can do the video. So with video, let's say we want to do a time lapse right here. So what we're going to be doing next, if we did the time lapse, is to go on this side and figure out how much we want to actually do it. So it's going to be 3 seconds, 5 hours long. It's going to be 3 hours, 3 minutes and 20 seconds for this specific version that we got here. And now what we want to do next, after we get all the facts here, everything that we want to make sure that the actual manual mode is the way we want. So this was in manual, ISO was in auto, and the shutter speed was this one. So let's change the shutter speed to be different here, and now we can actually see what we are doing. So after you change the shutter speed and you play with this around, there's a lot of cool manual things that we can do here, and we can just do auto if you don't want to mess with it. So let's go ahead and just do auto. But with the time lapse, this is one of the coolest features that we have here, is that we are able to go ahead and add all those extra details to the time lapse itself. Time lapse for the photo, we can do time lapse for the video, and we can also do the slow motion one. So all those great features gives it a huge advantage over the GoPro, which doesn't actually have all those features that are so easy for us to use. That being said, last thing is the battery. You want to change the battery, get it out. There's two eject buttons on both sides. You eject it on one side, and then you eject it from the other, and it jumps out. And you put it right back in. On this side, you can see the SD memory card is right here, and you would need like some small object like a pin to get this thing out of here. And here is the charger. The good thing is you don't have to access the battery compartment to charge this. But the same exact problem that we have with the GoPro is that if it is inside its housing, then of course you can't actually charge the battery, which is a big bummer. Other than that, this is a very cool little camera. There's going to be a link right down below in case you want to buy a Huron version. Thank you so much for watching another great episode of the Geek Tech Show. If you did enjoy this channel, please hit the subscribe button right down below, and make sure you click on the post notification on as well so you don't miss another cool video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in another great episode of the Geek Tech Show.